Live? Are
We
we
are now
live?
live.
We are. Hello, everybody.
I
Good
think we've
evening.
stared into the abyss. I'm just gonna get right into it. We have stared into the abyss. We have seen
I'm shell shocked.
we have
Yes,
seen things that you wouldn't ever believe.
that no one should see. We just get out of Expendables 4, or I mean, it is Expendables 4, right? It's not Expendables because
Expendables.
because even the way marketing has designed the presentation of the title is bizarre. But yes, it's the fourth Expendables movie, and I don't know what else to say other than it should not exist, at least in its in its present form. What a bad movie. And
Oh,
oh,
interesting.
someone's walking by with
Yeah,
a
I
total
honestly,
like nonsense.
like I know we joke about bad movies,
Yeah.
right? The Marvel formula, how these $300 million movies look cheap. This has somehow impressed and surpassed levels of utter incompetence. I mean,
Well, the best way to say it is for those of you,
wow.
for you millennials, and of course younger nostalgiacs who know what Nintendo 64 looked like. The special effects in this movie literally look like Nintendo
Looks like Star
64.
Fox 64.
Yes, yes.
This
I mean,
movie
it's
cost
crazy.
$100 million.
Where did the money go? I don't know. No one in the cast seems like they want to be actively
Okay,
in it.
you know what? I'll say one positive. This movie has demonstrated that everyone in the cast has first grade reading comprehension.
Yes, it was that bizarre. Well, because there's no lines really to speak of. The dialogue doesn't really deserve any kind of mention, and the
I mean,
plot is not just a recycle of every other action movie plot you've seen, but it's done in a way where you can't even have a silly good time. You can't even have like a little bit of an escapist, turn your brain off for 2 hours time. It's because it's almost insulting to any kind of comprehension skills you may have as a viewer.
well,
It's
also
so
it
bad.
doesn't. It is borderline. I know. Sorry about the music. Public. Public space.
We like
But
to keep it real. Yeah.
pretty sure it's Kendrick Lamar. So
Yeah.
not too bad. But
Yeah.
this movie doesn't even have a 3-act structure. It doesn't even have a 2-act structure. This might be the first time in cinematic history a feature film has one act, one singular act.
And a lot of it really felt like a rough cut. Like when you're watching, those of you who know what a rough cut is, it's a version of the film before the sound and the effects are finalized, and it's in a rough form. This movie looked like that for its 2 hour running time. I really don't know what else to say. Megan Fox looks bored out of her mind.
Not just bored. Every character sounded completely blackout drunk. Like the characters who supposedly speak English as their native language, I could not understand
Yeah.
a single thing they said.
Jason Statham just looks like he's phoning it in. And he doesn't get credit for when he goes a little further in movies like Guy Ritchie's Wrath of Man. But in this one, it's beyond phoning it in. Same with Andy Garcia. It kind of feels like they rolled out of bed, slapped on some wardrobe, walked on set, and regurgitated whatever it is that was on the page.
They drank
Yeah.
500 bottles of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Not 500 shots, but 500 full bottles of Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
Stumbled onto set and read off the cue card.
And you have to know how to utilize an actor's strengths. And for example, I was thinking about that while watching the movie because I had just recently seen Jennifer's Body, starring Megan Fox as this kind of demonic. If you haven't seen
A
it, I won't
succubus,
spoil.
basically.
Yeah, well, like this kind of it's a really underappreciated feminist parable about assault and protecting yourself, but with this demonic angle to it. That movie knew how to utilize her presence, like what Megan Fox is as an actor. This movie did not. I mean, everyone in this film is they're cardboard cutouts in the movie. That's
Well,
what they
everyone
are.
stood. Not only that, but it looked like they were standing on a cardboard cutout of a set.
Yeah, okay, yes, we're not even kidding.
It,
We're not even kidding. There's a scene where someone crashes into a fighter jet, and the fighter jet simply explodes. But the fighter jet looked about toy size, and like someone had simply put it together on some program downloaded into their MacBook or something. It's not but you know what? That's also kind of I don't know. Again, I don't know what else to say about that movie because Gareth Edwards famously did the effects for Monsters at home on his computer, and they look great. Whoever was working on this, I I'm speechless as to
I
the
mean,
effects in this movie.
it almost looked like a Wes Anderson stop motion film, which is whimsy. But this was supposed to be a serious action movie. And by the way, the action sucked.
Yeah. No, but you know what? At least Wes Anderson, the whimsiness, it just wouldn't have looked like Nintendo 64 though. See, look, we keep talking about it because there's nothing much else to say about the plot. The plot is
They gotta go
non-existent.
kill bad guys.
It's a lot of guys with the kinds of physiques that everyone in LA wants,
They make
shooting
shitty
up
jokes.
people, and that's it.
I
That's
mean,
kind of it.
honestly, I'm not even gonna say it was like a college student made this. Not even a high school student. It was like a fifth grader
Yes.
single-handedly wrote, edited, directed, and did the visual effects on like Adobe Premiere or something. Like
No, and yeah, the acting. Okay,
it's not even acting.
it's not. I mean, Sylvester Stallone
It's
and
puppetry.
they're just phoning it in.
Beyond phoning it in.
The best performance was 50 Cent because he's kind of
Well, let's
just
not use any words like best. Let's say
the
least
least
incompetent.
incompetent. And I think it's just because 50 Cent was playing himself. Every time he appears on screen, he's just hanging out on set. That's kind of all that goes on in the
I mean, so far the guy outside who's playing music, that's more entertaining
than
if you can
Expendables
hear that,
4.
which I'm sure you can, than the entirety of Expendables 4, and even worse, the end credits. Like sometimes,
Oh,
the Meg 2 had some pretty stylish
with a
credits
great song.
with a great
Well, with great
song.
music over the end
But
credits.
this,
Yeah,
it literally, and this is not even a joke. It looks like something from iMovie.
yeah. What a bet. Okay, I'm about to get on the train. Sebastian's going to drive home. That 40 minutes on the train will be way more even at this hour when if you take the regional connector into East LA, it gets very quiet. That will be much more thrilling than any minute in this movie. Um, I don't
My
know. I
life
don't
has
know.
been forever changed. I think my framework for what makes a movie bad has now has a bottom.
Now, to be
This
clear,
this straight up might be the worst because there are like really bad movies that are homemade, like Neil Breen stuff like that. Like what this is. This is a supposed serious action movie released by Lionsgate. This might be the worst thing. I'm not even going to call this a movie. This is not even worthy of a product. This is the worst entity that I have seen in years.
I will also clarify to anyone watching who thinks we're being haters. Uh, I watched Expendables 3 last night to prepare for Expendables 4.
And I've seen the first two
Right.
many years ago. The second one has Jean Claude Van Damme, and that is true '80s campiness.
Well,
It's not
and
good, but it's '80s camp, right?
yeah, one Expendables 3 it got a lot of flack back when it premiered 9 years ago because it was rated PG-13 and it wasn't as gory as the first two. But you know what? It had a compared to what we just saw, Expendables 3 at least had a good campy script that threw in a lot of nods at the movies that made its cast members famous back in the day. Right? There's great nods to the movies Antonio Banderas was in, the movies Schwarzenegger did back in the 80s and 90s. This movie doesn't even celebrate nostalgia. It doesn't even know how to nod at the previous films that we're supposed to know the cast from.
It couldn't
It
even
was,
do like fun one-liners.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it is incomprehensible. It is incomprehensible. It is inept. It is.
Sounds like a real
Yeah,
consequence,
someone's having a full Hollywood Bowl.
or a little private one. I've run out of things to say about this movie.
There's nothing more.
There's nothing else to say.
This is, you know what, the Meg 2, it's really bad, but if you get some buddies together and you have some drinks, you can have laughs at the movie.
And
This is just like,
that one. And the effects are, even when the Tyrannosaurus eats a shark 65 million years ago, the effects are believable. This I don't know. I have nothing else to say about
there's
this
nothing.
movie. Just people, please, this weekend
Go see It Lives Inside.
go see It Lives Inside, and go see Rebel.
Now, Rebel,
Rebel,
we are going to talk about that very soon.
great.
And one other movie, but today's been interesting. Today I've seen two movies that have blown me away. One, it kind of reawakened kind of like a spirit of what filmmakers can do and the stories they can tell. And the other one on, I don't know, how to make something for literally the lowest common denominator, sub-zero IQ.
Yeah. I mean, all I can say is, yeah, the same. Go watch It Lives Inside by Bishal Duda, who we just did a Q&A with at a screening, which you can see on our YouTube channel. You can see the full Q&A we did with Bishal. And go see Rebel. Those are two movies that, at least they have a sense of where to put the camera. This movie does not. And that's it. That's my mic drop. I'm done with this movie. I'm done with this movie.
We just sat. We almost sat in silence. Where we just got some chicken tenders and a Big Mac. We just sat in silence. We just couldn't. We literally could not process
what we just saw.
And I wish it sounded like hyperbole, but I've never experienced something like that.
Yeah. Okay, I'll even put it this way, because I don't want, if Lionsgate sees this, so they can again not accuse us of being haters. I saw 10 on Friday morning. Saw 10 is Gone with the Wind compared to Expendables 4. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, at least those prosthetics. I mean, hey, give it a push for the Oscars. At least it probably has cinematography that gives it a style.
Saw 10 is The Exorcist and Halloween and all the, compared to Expendables 4. It's just in terms of the visuals. But anyway,
we'll leave it there.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. And yes, please, again, check out on our YouTube channel our interview with director Bishal Dutta on his film.
It's on the SMC film program, but we have uploaded the audio to our usual places. And once we work out with SMC, write stuff, we'll see if we can get to our YouTube channel as well.
You're right. So let me reframe. You can listen to our interview with Bishal on our usuals, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you go to the SMC Film Program YouTube, you can see our interview, because we interviewed Bishal at a screening of his film It Lives Inside at his alma mater, Santa Monica College. So the campus hosted that Q&A. So you can see the video on the
great
SMC
time,
film
lovely
program.
guy, great experience, and keep up to date. We are getting prepped to work on our Heat episode 4 of Chronicles of Man.
Michael Mann,
getting ready for the spooky season with an unannounced film that we're looking forward to as well, and more.
That's it. We are gonna go recover now.
You know what the best part of the movie was? The free beer I got at the beginning of the screening.
And that it ended.
That
was the best part of the movie. And on that note, everybody, we're breaking the 180.
Sleep well.
Noches. See you all soon.
Watch a good movie.
Please do.